Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. As soon as I start my intro, Sora always leaves. Anyway, it's been a little while since we've done one of these. We were waiting for more releases, and of course, as you know, the Asgardian wave has been released. Not seeing the Asgardian faction today, but we are at least seeing Thor and Valkyrie. But we'll go over that in more detail as we get into looking at the teams. But please remember to show your support to help support this channel and all the videos, and subscribe, and you ring the bell or something, right? I'm old school. The bell didn't exist in 2009. Anyway, let's get on with this. So here is our Avengers affiliation. We have Captain America, we have Iron Man, and as stated, we have Thor and Valkyrie. And then, cheap and cheerful, fill in two spaces, is Black Widow at the back there. And up until now, we've been using 4 team tactic cards each, even though it's supposed to be 5. That's just because we're working with one core box. Thanks to so many releases now being out, it feels okay to actually use the 5 and not feel that one side is getting shafted by not having access to certain cards from the core box. So we're giving it a go, and as a result, this team is using Avengers Assemble, 1-2 Punch, Thunder Wave, Second Wind, and Ricochet Blast. And our Cabal affiliated enemy team here is Red Skull, Venom, Crossbones, Killmonger, and Baron Zemo. Their team tactics cards are Recalibration Matrix, Usurp the Throne, Lethal Protector, Cosmic Invigoration, which might actually get used this time, and Brace for Impact. So in order to play the new mission that comes in the Asgardian releases, which is Fear Grips the World as Worthy Terrorist Citizens, didn't do the normal results for choosing an extraction, it's just being played. And then we also have the Infinity Formula goes missing as our second one. But this is the important one. There's 4 Cosmic Hammers, you spend a power to pick them up if you have them, you score a victory point in the cleanup phase, and also you get 1 additional attack dice for any attacks you do for each hammer you're holding. So you can technically hold all 4 and get 4 extra attacks. The downside to that is for every hammer you're holding, you have to pay an additional power for tactics cards. If you play them on the turn in which someone who's holding a hammer is activated, I guess. Presumably that's what that means. The Infinity Formulas is, if you're securing one of the formulas, you get extra power during the power phase, and if you have the majority, you score a victory point. And the 4 hammers are there, all the way over there, and the Infinity Formula is essentially a box around the hammers. There. So, we will be back with everything deployed and seeing who goes first. So we're done with the deployment. As you see the board, the Avengers are on the left, the Cabal on the right. I think technically based on the deployments, the hammers should have been, if you're using the left and right edges, the hammers should have been reversed, but it doesn't matter. I think they're equidistant, it feels like they're a bit too close to deployment if you deploy just barely touching 3, which, the way the game is worded, you're allowed to. So either way, Valkyrie's here, the 3 main Avengers are there, Black Widow's over there, and then we have Crossbones, Venom, and then the rest of the Cabal. Down here, I don't think there's anything else to cover. Avengers going first as we go into Battle Round 1. Oh, there totally is one more thing to cover just in case you aren't aware. Asgardians have a passive where they get an extra power in the power phase. So Thor and Valkyrie both have 2 power, while everybody else just gets the 1. So to get the game started, Black Widow activated, and she just moved up twice to where you can see her, and she has spent a power to pick up this hammer here, which I believe I mistakenly said was the Thing's hammer from when he was a worthy, but I believe it's actually Juggernaut. Either way, that is on Black Widow's card. She's charged right in there to nab that, and we'll see if that pays off. First activation for the Cabal was Venom. He picked up the worthy hammer that he was within 1 of, and then using Wall Crawler he just vaulted over the car and has opted to stay there. He had an action left, but Black Widow is just out of 3 and he wants to stay within capture distance of the Infinity Formula there, so he can't do anything. Although actually, well, yes, technically he could move enough that he's still within capture range and then she would be in range, but then that would be both his actions gone, so he's staying put where he is. The mighty Thor activated next. He spent a power to pick up the hammer there, so he's got a hammer in each hand. Then he moved forward medium, which puts him right on that wall there. He wanted to chuck his hammer at Venom, which is range 5, which is the longest range you can have in the game, but that's still not enough to reach him over there. It's short by like the equivalent of range 2, I think. Hang on. Yeah, more or less range 2-ish. So he can't quite reach, so he's just going to sit there. He's banked 1 power because it took 1 power to pick up the hammer. And now over to the Cabal. Red Skull activated next, and first of all he channeled the Cosmic Cube for 3 power. He did not take any damage as a result. You roll 5 dice and for any skull he takes 1 damage, but he didn't. He then spent that 3 power to move Killmonger 2 forwards, and then because that cosmic tube channeling counts as an action, he then just moved medium as I knock over a lamppost. So he is also within the Affinity Formula range, and Killmonger still gets a turn from where he's standing later on. Iron Man activated and went for a cheeky steal. He just used 2 medium moves to get him right up to within 1, and he has spent a power to steal the hammer that, if memory serves, that's the one that the Red Skull's daughter gets, so he's going to be doubly furious that Iron Man is now holding it. Does put him in danger of getting hit by Killmonger and Baron Zemo. He's called the Invincible Iron Man, it's time to put that to the test. So Killmonger did indeed activate. He used his first action to move up medium, then he used his vibranium weapons on Iron Man and rolled horrifically. 1 hit, 1 skull and 3 blanks, which means he couldn't even spend his 1 power on Special Force training or whatever it's called. They would have let him count blocks as successes rather than hits. So he did no damage. 2 quick activations to cover because they were just manoeuvring. Captain America has used 2 moves, which was a full medium and then like half a medium to get still within capture distance of that Infinity Formula, moved up a little bit to back up Black Widow. Then Crossbones, he just moves small, so he moved like the same kind of distance, a small plus half a small, to get where you can see him, so he's also within that Infinity Formula right there. That was it, that's all we did. So now it's over to Valkyrie to end the Avengers turn, and Baron Zemo for the Cabal. 2 more quick manoeuvres ends off the first battle round. Valkyrie has to claim this Infinity Formula to get the victory points. Baron Zemo opted to move where you can see him. Could technically have maybe done like a charge, maybe, but has opted to take advantage of the generating the extra power from being within capture distance of that Infinity Formula just barely. So that takes us to the cleanup phase of Battle Round 1. So at the end of Battle Round 1, the Avengers are holding 3 out of the 4 worthy hammers for 3 victory points and 2 serum canisters for another additional 2 victory points. The Cabal have only 1 hammer, Venom has it, and also 2 canisters, so that's another 2 victory points. So 5 is playing 3 as we go into Battle Round 2 with the Avengers still going first. And also, again, the Asgardians get an extra power in the power phase, but also everybody who is contesting a serum canister, so everyone within 1, will be getting an additional power as well. So Thor got Battle Round 2 started. He moved up medium and then threw his hammer at Venom. Had an extra dice because he's got a hammer, as in like an extra hammer, at him. Sadly though, Venom took no damage, did well with his defense rolls. However, whether the attack does damage or not, it does the new shock condition, which is what that Power Rangers symbol there means. And shock just means that he gets 1 less attack die in his attacks unless he shakes the status. So that essentially means it's negating the hammer that Venom is carrying, but obviously no damage is not great. Venom activated and had a really effective and really busy turn. So first of all, he used the superpower, which isn't an action, Web Snare for the 2 power he had on him, to pull Black Widow medium towards him. Then he stood still and did not shake the stunned effect, or shocked effect I mean. He just did 2 of his 3 basic strikes. The first one did 1 damage and bleeds, well, either bleeds, but second one did 2 damage. The basic strike gives him power based on damage dealt, plus the Cabal affiliation rather gives him another power when he deals damage. So with that, he was then able to do Clintar Rage, pick up Black Widow and chuck her at this car, dealing the 1 extra other damage needed to take her to dazed because she has 4 HP. She has dropped the hammer and then he spent his 1 last power to pick it up. So Venom now has 2 hammers and Black Widow is not getting an activation. Iron Man was next up to activate. He fired a repulsor blast into Killmonger, which did no damage but did get a wild, so he could push him. Small, it's actually not full small distance because he would collide with Red Skull, so he stops there, although pushes don't cause collisions, so he doesn't take any damage from that. Then he just moved medium over here towards the middle of the map, and that was it. A bit ineffective, but at least forced Killmonger back, so he'd have to do a move first before he tried to attack Valkyrie or anyone else. Baron Zemo activated and his first action was a charge, so that's a move plus a basic attack. It did 2 damage to Valkyrie and bled her just by default, and that generated him power based on damage done plus the Cabal affiliation. Then he did a steel rush with the power he generated, so he gets to move medium afterwards, so he has moved to contest that Infinity Formula, and that only dealt 1 damage, he didn't get quite as much through. That does put Valkyrie at, I think she's got 3 health left, I think she's a 6 health on her healthy side. She's got a lot of power to play with, and hopefully we're about to see why you don't make an Asgardian mad. So Valkyrie activated and she had one heck of a turn. Her first action was to shake the bleed to get rid of it. Her second action was 3 power? 3 power to use her Dragon Fang attack, which is a 7 physical attack. it did 4 damage, and it automatically does bleed, so turnabout is fair play for Baron Zemo. However, as long as you get 1 wild in the roll, it does flurry, which means you can make a basic strike afterwards, which did 2, which is enough to stun poor Baron Zemo and knock him out for the round. An interesting thing that I think is done correctly, but just to be clear, Baron Zemo has counterattack like Black Widow does, so once an attack against him has been resolved, he can spend power to hit back. He technically could have had a chance there, but because the flurry is part of Dragon Fang, it doesn't seem like you can do counterattack in between the two, even though you're technically doing a second attack, because it's part of the description of the first attack. Just making sure that's done correctly. I think it is, because it's still part of the same attack, so there wouldn't have been a chance to trigger counterattack. It wouldn't necessarily have meant he could have taken her out, but just to be clear, a little bit of an interesting rules thing there, because she's getting a free attack based on a dice roll. So anyway, that's her activation. If he hadn't have gone down, he could have been thrown if she was willing to spend the power on it, which isn't an action. But he's down either way, so back over to the Cabal. Killmonger activated next, but first of all, here's another cameo from Sora. He moved up medium, and then he used 2 power for a charge, so that's another medium move followed by an attack. He did Vibranium Weapons on Valkyrie's back. Only did 2 damage, so she is still standing with 1 HP remaining. It would have only done 1 damage, but he got the pierce through by getting a wild, so her 1 successful defense gets countered. But she is standing on 1 HP. Captain America activated. He moved up small, not medium, and that's important. Then he chucked his shield at Venom, didn't get the ricochet, but did manage to do 1 damage to Venom. Then, because that was both his actions, Avengers Assemble was played, so any number of Avengers can spend 1 power to advance small, so he moved back to where he was, so he's still capturing that. Iron Man also took advantage and moved small to where you can see him there. So now, Crossbones and Red Skull just get to have their activations to take us to the end of Battle Round 2. So for both the Cabal's final 2 activations for Battle Round 2, they're basically just staying still. Red Skull is staying still to claim that Infinity Formula. There was no way for him to move, try and attack Valkyrie and get moved back, so that's why he's just opting to stay there. Crossbones doesn't want to stand too close to Venom, fearing a collective Avengers assault, so he has retreated behind cover, but still within capping distance of that Infinity Formula there. So, on to the cleanup phase. So at the end of Battle Round 2, the Cabal have 2 hammers, and also the Avengers have 2 hammers, so that's 2 victory points each. However, things have changed with the Infinity Formulas. The Avengers hold this one. Nobody holds this one because they are both healthy and holding it, even though Valkyrie's 1 away from death. 1 away from dazed, rather. Red Skull is obviously holding that one, and Crossbones and Venom are both holding that one. So the Cabal have closed the gap. They're only 1 point behind the Avengers, but the Avengers are still going first, because they didn't get last activation, as we move into Battle Round 3. So to get Battle Round 3 started, Valkyrie had a heck of a turn where she just gave everything she had. I think she was sitting on 9 power at the start of the turn. So first thing she did was do Asgardian Might, which is 2. She can throw a size 2 character small. She picked up Baron Zemo, chucked him at Killmonger. However, Brace for Impact was played. They both paid a power to negate any damage from that. But that wasn't an action, that was a superpower. So then, she activated Warrior of Legend for 2 power and did a Dragon Fang for 3 power, so 5 in total, on Baron Zemo. The Warrior of Legend, for every crit and wild in her roll, she can change another result to a hit. That's a blank or defense, for instance. She did 5 damage to Baron Zemo, which insta-killed him. Didn't matter that she also got the flurry proc on it, so she could have done an additional attack to him. So he is very much dead, because he was on his wounded side. With nothing better to do, she then spent the last of her power, which was another 3, on another Dragon Fang. Sadly didn't get any wild, so she couldn't follow up with a strike. It only did 1 damage, all said and done, to Killmonger, who defended very well against it. He did, however, get the bleed status automatically. But that's Baron Zemo gone. Brace for Impact used up and gone as well. Very effective. She's still probably going to go down, but she went down swinging. Venom activated, and first of all shook off his shock to get rid of it. Then spent 3 power on We Are Venom to try and nom Black Widow. She did well with her defense roll, so he only did 3 damage, so she's got 1 HP left. And that's despite We Are Venom is normally 7, and because he shook off the shock and he has 2 hammers, it was 9 dice. So she got amazingly lucky there. Also, the 1 damage that was on him was healed, because We Are Venom heals him for damage done. But she then activated counterattack and did 2 damage to him, so he still had a net loss of 1 health. But he did almost take out Black Widow. Captain America moved up for his first action. abandoning the Affinity Formula, or Serum, whatever, there. And then he threw his shield at Venom, did 1 damage, got the ricochet, so it bounced within 3, smacked Crossbones for an additional 2 damage. And then also, the Team Tactic card, Second Wind, was played purely for Black Widow to heal 1 damage. Valkyrie can't play it because it does specify it has to be an Avengers affiliated person that uses it. So she's back at half health now at 2. Crossbones activated and used a combination of Haymaker and Overpower for 6 power in total to attack Black Widow, who was just within 3. He moves within 1 after the attack. It did a staggering 6 damage to her. She is very dead. And then he just used his second action to move Small back over to where you can see him there. So Black Widow is gone. So as you can see, Thor, who activated, had a very busy turn. It started with the Team Tactics card Thunderwave, which cost him 1 extra power to play because he has a hammer. As long as he's within 1 of an allied Captain America, which he was thanks to Captain America moving up, then we both spend 2, although he spent 3. While within 1 from Captain America, you measure the Thunder Wave because basically he's smacking the shield and causing a shockwave to fly forward. It's a beam 5, it caught Venom and Crossbones, however the attack rolls for both 6 energy were horrific. 1 damage got done to Venom, none to Crossbones, so then he flew up and then he attacked with his, what's it called? Oh, it's just a basic strike, but he has a throw attached to it. So the 1 damage from the initial attack, before damage is dealt, if you get a wild you can throw with Thor as long as it's a size 4 or under, so he threw Venom against the wall for 1. Then he just rolled fantastically, because keep in mind he has an extra hammer as well already, and did 4 damage. All said and done, that's what, 4, 5, 6. He only needed to do 3. Venom is dazed. And also dropped his 2 hammers, this one of which Thor will be picking up. Killmonger activated, he attacked Valkyrie with a basic strike with his vibranium weapons, did 2 damage, he only needed to do 1. She is dazed, and then he used his second action to shake off the bleed. So he is just going to camp there. And now it's over to Iron Man to end the turn for the Avengers, and Red Skull for the Cabal, but presumably he's going to sit on the Infinity Formula. Serum, I do that every time. So it'll be quite quick. So Iron Man activated, he moved just barely within 1 to spend power to pick up that hammer, so he's holding 2 as well now. And then he just moved medium for his other action to cap that Infinity Serum that Captain America was at originally. Red Skull is indeed just going to stay over there, so that takes us to the cleanup phase for Battle Round 3. So at the end of Battle Round 3, the Avengers have all 4 of the worthy hammers for 4 victory points, and Iron Man is capping that serum down there. This serum over here is contested, this one is claimed, and this one is claimed because Valkyrie is unconscious. So the Avengers are pulling away with it. They only need 3 victory points in Battle Round 4 to take the win. That seems very doable, but we're still going to play it out and see what happens, and they are going first. Thor got Battle Round 4 started, and the basic plan is just hold on to at least 3 victory points. He stood where he was, and then 1-2 punch was played, so as long as the person he's targeting, who is Venom, is within 2 of another person, which he was, they both spend 1 power, although he has to spend 3 because he has 2 hammers, and it just adds 2 to the attack roll, coupled with the 2 dice he had from bonus dice from the 2 hammers, meant that when he was doing a basic strike on Venom he was using 10 dice. That said, it still only did 2 damage. You had to do a follow-up again, and that one got much luckier and did 4, although all said and done I think he only had to do 4 in total. So Venom is gone. He has been removed. He's tanky though. And now over to the Cabal. Killmonger activated, and first he spent 3 power on a Black Ops strike which did 4 damage to Valkyrie, leaving her on 1 health left. Then he just did a normal strike with his vibranium weapons, and the roll was pretty bad. It was 3 blocks, a blank and a skull. So he spent his 1 remaining power on him for Special Ops, is that what it's called? Special Forces, where he gets to count blocks instead of hits as successes for an attack. Her defense roll was terrible, so all 3 went through as damage. Valkyrie has been removed, and Killmonger has claimed that Infinity Serum. Captain America activated and moved up medium, then did a shield slam for the 2 power he had on him. On Crossbones, only did 1 damage and did knock him back small thanks to Wild, but then Crossbones gets to react and move back small. Oh, actually, sorry, it did 2 damage, but he used the Inward to Pain to bring it down by 1. So now it's Crossbones activation, and if he can, I don't know, knock Cap or Thor away, it would make that one unclaimed, and that's really all he can do because Red Skull's just going to stand there, and Iron Man's just going to stand where he is, so it's just going to be Crossbones to end the game, I think. So Crossbones actually had a decent turn. He used Overpower on Thor, which lets him move within 1 afterwards, and if he gets a wild he can throw them small as long as they're size 2 or less, which Thor is. So he chucked Thor into the traffic cone, 1 damage from the impact. Thor did horrendously on his defense roll and actually took 5 damage, so that plus hitting the traffic cone is enough to daze him. So he got dazed and dropped the 2 hammers. He has 1 power left and is picking up whichever one. Basically, they were dropped in such a way that Iron Man can't quickly just fly up and grab one, so either way he's getting 1 victory point. It's not going to change the outcome, but it made the Cabal save a little face. So at the end of the game, as the Avengers have indeed reached the score cap, the Cabal claim this serum, Avengers claim this one, Cabal claim this one. This one is contested between those two because Thor is out of range. Hammer-wise, Crossbones has 1, and then Iron Man has 2. So almost, that was only 3 victory points the Avengers gained, so almost went to round 5. But as it stands, that does mean that the Avengers hit the 16 cap at the end of turn 4, and the Cabal have a respectable 12 right at the end there. If it kept going, I think the Avengers would have taken Crossbones out, honestly. So with that, let's go to some final thoughts. So it had been a little while since we last played Crisis Protocol, not because I got sick of it or anything, it was purely just waiting for the new releases, because otherwise it gets a bit stale using the same teams. The Asgardians are powerful, Thor is fantastic, didn't get a chance to use the God of Thunder attack he has, which is AoE around him. He never had enough power, he has to kind of bank it if you want to be able to do that, or find some other way for him to generate power. But yeah, he was fun. Valkyrie held her own very, very well for a 3-threat character. You let her build up power and she can hit you really hard. That said, the Avengers plus Thor, well, he is an Avenger, but you know what I mean, an Avengers team now including Thor, very powerful, important to deal with. Eager to see how an Asgardian focused team does though, so hopefully we'll try and do that in the future as soon as possible. Please do remember to show your support and subscribe if you want to see more in the future, painting videos, battle reports and more. Thank you though for watching this one, I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the future. Ta for now.